Paul has decided to follow Donald Trump in his fascist language against the media, and more importantly, in his unconstitutional language against the whistleblower who filed a formal whistleblower complaint against Donald Trump's actions in his phone conversation with the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky. Now, I just want to note that we have federal protections for whistleblowers if they go through the legal route to basically voice their concerns, share their complaint. That's exactly what this individual did. Trump's been pushing to reveal the identity of this person, which could put his or her life in jeopardy since we're in this climate of political violence. And Rand Paul has decided to follow suit. Take a look.
I want to have him come up for a second. Rand Paul, your senator, a great warrior. President Trump has great courage. He faces down the fake media every day. But Congress needs to step up and have equal courage to defend the president. And I say this to my fellow colleagues in Congress, to every Republican in Washington: step up and subpoena Hunter Biden and subpoena the whistleblower. And I say to my colleagues, if Shifty Schiff will not let Hunter Biden come, and if he will not bring the whistleblower forward, every Republican in Congress should take a walk and say, this is a farce. Wow, that was excellent. Whoa.
Of course, Donald Trump would think that's excellent because Rand Paul is regurgitating the same types of attacks against the whistleblower that Donald Trump has been pushing out there. And remember, at this point, with what we know in regard to the testimony that's been given by Trump administration officials and what we know based on what Trump released himself with the summary of the phone conversation with Vladimir Zelensky, the whistleblower at this point is completely irrelevant. So why does he want to reveal the identity of that person? This is a form of political intimidation. And now you have Rand Paul playing along with this nonsense, and it's so incredibly shameful and so embarrassing.
Yeah, man, there's so much stuff in there. Obviously, that was a cringeworthy, pathetic display.
Yeah.
I think that's my initial response. I mean, to use Shifty Shift, Rand Paul definitely does not think that that's clever at all. He doesn't think that that's how politicians should comport themselves in public. He doesn't, but he has to do it anyway, and he's willing to do it anyway. And that is, I don't know at this point if he's more pathetic than Lindsey Graham, who obviously switched from being really against Donald Trump before he became elected to now being his go-to cheerleader, or Ted Cruz, who was raising money for him. I also wonder, I look at this as an outsider. I'm not a politician. I've never run for election. I've never had to run for re-election. Maybe I'm being naive. Maybe it is actually smarter to debase yourself in public over and over and over, and weather this storm and still have a career when Donald Trump goes away. Maybe it's better to unman yourself publicly over and over again, and then just continue on.
I'm going to, and it's going to seem random, bring Bernie Sanders into this conversation, right? Because the appeal of someone like Bernie Sanders is the fact that whether you agree with him or not, he is a principled individual, period. He pushed for things that were unpopular at the time that he pushed for them, including gay rights, decades before other members of Congress were willing to support gay rights. He is not a politician. He is not a careerist. He is a person who actually has principles, who has values, and wants to represent people based on those principles and values. Then you look at the vast majority of politicians, but certainly Republican lawmakers under the Trump administration. What Trump has really done a good job of is shine a light on all of these unprincipled careerists who, again, during the election had some very strong criticisms of Donald Trump. And now all of a sudden they tuck tail. My name is Reek. I'm gonna go ahead and do and say anything you want because my political career is much more important than doing the right thing. That's what Rand Paul did in that video.
Yeah, and in this particular topic, I mean, Bernie Sanders, he did stand against Donald Trump. He had the integrity that after fighting through the primary with an amazing campaign, he opposed Donald Trump in the general election and was attacked by a lot of people, some of which had formerly supported him for not simply giving fan service to his fans and saying, you just pretend for the next couple of years that Donald Trump isn't president or whatever. He has stood against him.
Right.
And so it was obviously an integrity move by Bernie Sanders. In terms of the focusing on the whistleblower and the transcript, I just think it's an awesome little puzzle. Like the focus on the whistleblower, when you made the great point, who cares who the whistleblower is? Like Sondland today said more than the whistleblower ever did, let alone all of the others. It's so irrelevant. But focusing exclusively on that and having right-wing media focus just on that and having your fans think about just that means that they don't have to actually think about all the other evidence that's coming out. And I think the transcript thing is even better. I think that one of the important things about creating a fascist movement is that fascist leaders like to demonstrate their power and authority. I've had authors on to talk about this by saying the most audacious lies imaginable, and thereby showing that they can have power over truth itself. And so to say, read the transcript, when we already know what's exactly in the transcript, we know what it says, they know what it says if they've read it. To go on saying that as clear as the actual evidence is, I think is playing into that. It's creating a cult where we glorify a convenient lie.
You're absolutely right, but there is one small correction. We haven't actually read the transcript. Remember, the actual transcript.
We've read what is available.
We've read a summary of the transcript, which Donald Trump put out, right? His administration put out. I would love to read the actual transcript, which is secured in a top secret server. So yeah, let's read the full transcript. Go ahead, I would love to read it. So you have all the supporters in the back wearing shirts that say read the transcript.
It must be a really popular shirt that they all showed up in that shirt.
I know, it's hilarious. All right, well, we're not even done with Rand Paul. If you thought that was bad, what you're about to watch is even worse. Take a look.
Hunter Biden made $50,000 a month. That's the definition of corruption. We know he got it only because of his family connections. We also now know the name of the whistleblower. The whistleblower needs to come before Congress as a material witness because he worked for Joe Biden at the same time Hunter Biden was getting money from corrupt oligarchs. I say tonight to the media, do your job and print his name.
Yeah, revealing the name of a whistleblower who wished to remain anonymous is not the media's job at all, right? It's not the media's job to do any politician's bidding. And it shouldn't be Rand Paul's job to do Donald Trump's bidding. And if you can recall, Rand Paul seemed to have some pretty negative things to say about Donald Trump back in 2015 when he was running against him in the Republican primary. I'd love to remind you guys if you forgot. Take a look.
I kind of have to laugh when I think, sounds like a non sequitur. He was asked whether or not he would be capable and it would be in good hands to be in charge of the nuclear weapons, and all of a sudden there's a sideways attack at me.
Or my favorite is, yeah, the reason I tell women they're ugly is because I'm so good looking. Everybody knows I'm good looking, right?
I think really there's a sophomoric quality that is entertaining about Mr. Trump. I think his response, his visceral response to attack people on their appearance, short, tall, fat, ugly. My goodness, that happened in junior high. Are we not way above that? Would we not all be worried to have someone like that in charge of the nuclear arsenal?
Dick, first of all, Rand Paul shouldn't even be on this stage. He's number 11. He's got 1% in the polls, and how he got up here, there's far too many people. Anyway, I never attacked him on his look, and believe me, there's plenty of subject matter right there. That I can tell you.
So, I mean, it's incredible because all these people who are doing Trump's dirty work for him hate him. I have no doubt that Rand Paul hates him. I have no doubt that Lindsey Graham hates him. I have no doubt that Ted Cruz hates him. But because of Republican voters and where they stand on Donald Trump's disgusting behavior, you have all these unprincipled Republican politicians, again, tucking tail and supporting anything and everything Donald Trump does, including revealing the name of this whistleblower. And I want to just read one quick comment. This is from Mark Zed. He is the whistleblower's attorney. He says, quote, "A member of Congress who calls for the identity of any lawful whistleblower to be publicly revealed against their wishes disgraces the office they hold and betrays the interests of the Constitution and the American people." He's absolutely right.
I think I guess he was about to do that. Didn't he make fun of Rand Paul's hair on the debate stage?
I mean, he made fun of everything.
I think it was at that debate that we saw with the plane in the background. Yeah, you're right. All of the people who now find themselves to be his strongest supporters are those that he attacked most viciously and mocked the most. I mean, Lindsey Graham obviously would be up there. Ted Cruz, he told vicious lies about his dad, mocked his wife's appearance. Rand Paul, he mocked him over and over. Hugh Hewitt, who would later be a moderator in one of those debates, he made fun of the ratings of his radio show at a presidential debate. And now Hugh Hewitt, his whole career is defending Donald Trump. Chris Christie's mocked his way any number of times, and these are Trump's defenders. And that debate was just a quick reminder that obviously Donald Trump making it through the primary, becoming the Republican nominee, becoming the president, the joke's on us because he's done horrible damage to our country. But all of those other Republicans on the stage, they didn't yet really understand who their voters were. And they would learn through the course of that primary.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Rand Paul thought, oh no, there's plenty of like clever intellectual libertarians who will support me when I run for president. Nope, that's not how it worked out.
Well, I do want to refer to Rand Paul's Twitter bio because it is relevant to the conversation. He says via Twitter, "I fight for the Constitution, individual liberty, and the freedoms that make this country great." I'm really curious what his father thinks about his latest Trump adventures, because Ron Paul, Rand's father, penned a USA Today op-ed not too long ago in 2017 titled, "Whistleblowers are heroic, patriotic."
And should be tracked down and killed. To finish that family story there. Yeah, and there was a great little lower third there that acknowledged it. And I guess it's obvious, but yeah, Rand Paul's up there. He would not have gotten anywhere in politics if it wasn't for his father, and Donald Trump wouldn't be anywhere if it wasn't for his father, even more so for Don Jr. when he speaks at those. All of them, it's just a whole bunch of people who are handed their positions. You're not here because of your dad.
Yeah.
Who's my dad? Anybody in the audience? You know what my dad did? He ran a printing press,
we're kind of here because of our dads.
Well, yes, obviously, but I'm saying it's not like, oh, well, at a young age, John knew he'd enter the Iadarola family business of political YouTube commentary. But so many politicians are only there either because it was handed to them by their father, or some of them, it was just a dynastic thing that, well, you were a politician in San Francisco and there had been one congressperson for 30 years and they handed it to you to hold it for 30 years. It's a weird industry in that way. And there was a lot of media figures who were, even Cuomo, who's one of the ones who's giving opportunities to progressives and everything, he got some strike back for mocking Rand Paul and Don Jr. on this issue. It's like, if you have a famous family, it doesn't mean you have to go live in a ditch somewhere, but acknowledge the privilege that you had.
Right, absolutely. I mean, people want to make themselves out to be like martyrs or, incredible people who did incredible things. But yeah, some of us do get like a head start in life. And so just acknowledge it when you have that privilege, just like you mentioned. All right, well, for our members, we have some wonderful video on Rand Paul that we're gonna save for the post game. So if you're interested in becoming a member, that really does help to support this show. We wouldn't be able to do it without our members. Just go to tyt.com/join, and I'm gonna show you a wonderful video of Rand Paul and his reaction at a Trump executive order signing. It's so good.
It's bad.
It's so good.
It's bad for Rand Paul.
So good. All right.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.